this is going to be a bit of a different video for me. It's going to lean toward the negative, something I tend not to like to do. This is a cautionary tale of shattered dreams and misguided ambition. Once hailed as the promised successor to Ultima Online, Legends of Aria, formerly Shards Online, plunged headfirst into a quagmire of financial ruin, leaving behind a wake of broken promises and unfulfilled potential, a fair amount of acrimony. As it desperately clung to life, Citadel Studios sold its soul to the crypto and NFT craze, only to be consumed by the same flames of deceit and disappointment, and shockingly, no one wanted to play that shit. And yet, the game isn't dead. The crypto version may be, although that's still trying to push forward. But the original version, well, maybe not. But anyone looking back at this game with rose-tinted glasses to, well, remember when, this video might be for you, because it's also a bit cathartic for me. For you see, I backed Legends of Aria. Not when it was Shards Online, I backed it earlier after that, but this is a little bit of a note to myself. This is the story of Legends of Aria as it stands now, and the revival of Legends of Aria Classic, launching in May of 2024. Years ago, I saw a team attempting to recreate Ultima Online, and I was encouraged. I came in long after the $100,000 Kickstarter for the game, Shards Online, which, in retrospect, is a shockingly low amount, even for a Kickstarter when you're trying to make an MMO. But after the Kickstarter, they tried to really just launch into early access. And for a nominal $25, I was able to pick up the game in early access, gaining complete access to the game with no subscription to the newly rebranded game that was Legends of Aria. Things progressed, albeit very slowly. When I hopped into the game, I realized they were, well, quite literally just recreating Ultima Online. Basically, UO with a fresh coat of paint, but a lot of the same systems and a much sparser world. Still, it was fun. I put almost 30 hours into it back in 2020 and 2021, and I saw some potential. Legends of Aria was a decent game that needed a lot more development time and a lot more content. Having essentially just recreated the gameplay loops of the iconic Ultima Online without really any innovation, save one. They allowed for custom servers, of which several popped up with different quirks. Some even completely recreated Ultima Online's world to the best of their ability, with new skills replicating those of the game and towns, and tried to recreate Sosaria, the world in which Ultima Online had existed. Holy shit, Sosaria! Am I just now realizing that Legends of Aria and Sosaria, that took me 4 years. I can be dense sometimes. But what that did with the custom servers was it allowed players to create the content in a way that they really wanted to really fill in the gaps where development was kind of falling flat, which, as we would find out, was because they were really struggling financially. When I jumped into Legends of Aria, I joined at a time where the game was essentially already kind of in freefall. Updates were slim or non-existent, and communication was similarly sparse. Not surprising given a game that had enough content for really a couple hours and was built upon players creating their own way in the world. But by the time I played, they were seeing peaks of barely 200 players, and even their all-time peak was only 1,000 players back in August of 2019, dropping to half of that by September of 2019 and continuing to fall from there. By 2021, the game was below 50 players and in, honestly, financial ruin. And that's not just my perspective, because they sold. Oh, wait, hold on. But before we get to the who they sold to and why that is why I'm so pissed off about this game, we have to talk about the other thing. And if you're doing a bingo card here, yes, they tried to make another game while making the MMO. Kind of like pretty much all Kickstarter MMOs have tried to do, and none of them have succeeded in. The game that they were trying to make was called The End, which I guess is pretty fitting. It was going to be a hack and slash multiplayer survival game that had a dark Viking setting, so essentially nothing to do with Legends of Aria at all. Cool idea, and it should have probably been the game they made first. As far as I can tell, nothing ever happened with The End. It never materializes. I guess it just, well, ended. But back to who they sold to when things all came crashing down. Well, they didn't just sell to another company. They didn't find a publisher to continue the vision of the original game. No, they decided that NFTs were the next big thing, and that making Legends of Aria into a play-to-earn game was going to be their saving grace. Shockingly, it wasn't. In December of 2021, they announced they'd been sold to a Metaverse NFT company called Blue Monster. And believe it or not, this did not revive Legends of Aria, which was then rebranded to Aria, which then launched the token that crashed in value because of course it did, which then tried to pass off footage from Blight Survival as their own gameplay when trying to sell their game because of course they did. And you know, on that note, I figure we could take a look at the trailer from Blight Survival because they're so similar, they'd be very, very easy to get confused, of course. Very, very, very similar. And then perhaps, you know, a trailer from Aria, not Legends of Aria, the crypto version of Legends of Aria. Now this next one, this is legitimately their trailer. They have, I guess, just added a filter over the trailer of Legends of Aria. This is a real thing. This is real. They thought this was a good idea.
A scourge is coming to Senador. The bringers of dread have arrived. Will you fight for the innocent or defend this new evil? Join us if you dare.
Yup. Just about as cringy as you could imagine. That's they probably paid someone for that. Probably in crypto. Join us if you dare. And if you're keeping track, that means the game changed names 3 times. I guess seemingly trying to escape different issues. It's just so many things with this game were just going wrong. Fast forward to July of 2023, and the continued spiraling failures of the game and the scummy behavior of Blue Monster almost results in them losing the Legends of Aria IP. You see, when Citadel Studios threw up their hands on game development and decided to cash in instead on NFTs by selling off to them, they included a termination clause if the company, that is Blue Monster, faced financial difficulty. You know, basically, if they faced the same issues that Citadel Studios was facing with their game, with the added burden of making it an NFT game. Turns out, yeah, making an MMO is hard, and it's not as quick a turnaround as they might think or may want it to be. Even if you're trying to do a rug pull with NFTs and play to earn. This is something that the CEO of Salve said, Joseph Rubin, who now apparently owns Citadel Studios and Blue Monster. There's a bunch of like companies in there, and I don't understand how this all works out with the buying and selling and rebranding. It gets very confusing, and that's probably part of the problem. So the CEO of whatever company owns Brittaria and Legends of Aria, Joseph Rubin, said the following regarding their financial difficulties and the difficulty of, well, making an MMO. This was not a problem that I, nor Citadel Studios, anticipated. When we first began this project, we assumed that we'd be able to have a game out quickly. But development has been much slower than we hoped. No shit! You already had the game in development for years, and then you sold it off and tried to change it into something else that was an NFT game. The game was already unpopular when you bought it. What exactly were you expecting to happen by adding in crypto to it? Why was that supposed to be the thing that fixed it? And apparently, it wasn't. And that's why we're here today. For good or bad, things seem to have resolved with those issues that they were having, and Blue Monster or Salve or whatever didn't lose the IP rights to Legends of Aria, because they announced a month later that the Metaverse company was able to secure continued rights to the game. And looking at recent revelations, I have to wonder if part of that deal included the most recent announcement and the reason why I decided to make this video. Legends of Aria Classic. Legends of Aria Classic will be launched on May 9th of 2024, or has already launched depending on when I get this video out or when you're watching it. It'll be launched by Citadel's Derek Brinkman on Steam. It'll be free to play for the first month, and then it will cost $9.99 per month thereafter. No box price. After the initial month, it will come with a 7-day trial, and then $9.99 per month after still no box price. It'll be trying to return to the game the way it was in 2019, which is interesting because that would be a game that I actually never even got to play. And in good conscience, I can't recommend this game, no matter how badly I really want to see an updated Ultima Online. It's just, there have been so many things with this game and with this company and trying to just sell the game off that I just cannot suggest in any way to even try this game. Because when the company has shown you that they're willing to sell themselves off to an NFT Metaverse company because the game that they're trying to make turned out to be too difficult, well then that's the point to kind of cut your losses. And that's what I had done. I had cut my losses with Legends of Aria. I've made some comments here and there about, oh, you know, I've backed Legends of Aria, I've backed Crowfall. Those two games, that sucks what happened to them, you know? But seeing them try to come back after the fact is as frustrating as seeing another launch of Bless Unleashed, which who knows if we're going to get another one of those eventually. It's one of those things where it feels like they're trying to capitalize on nostalgia, but capitalizing on nostalgia for a game that never really fully launched is a very weird move. And having a subscription fee at this point doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if they were saying, okay, look, we're breaking off, if they apologize for all the bullshit they did with selling it off, if they apologize for all of that, and they're like, hey, we're going to try and make the game that we promised we're going to make, I might be more interested, especially if they're like, you can come in and just play it, test it, give us feedback, tell us what we need to do to make it better, and open up the custom servers for people so that they can keep creating the things that they like to create when they put all their time and energy into the game. That's not what they're doing. They're putting up a classic version of the game and charging $9.99 a month for it. A game that really did not have enough content in it when it was not classic in 2021. But I'm just a YouTuber. My opinion is my own, and I am not here to try and sway you one way or the other. I'm just here to tell you my opinion. So if you want to try it, and if you find it fun and that you really enjoy yourself, I'm happy for you. Because in the end, what I always want is for people to find an MMO world that they truly feel like they belong in, that hits the notes that they want, and lets them have some kind of escape from some of the shittier parts of life. A game that just lets them enjoy themselves. And if Legends of Aria Classic happens to be that for you, I'm happy for you, and I hope you enjoy your time there. The only thing that this video should do then, in that case, is just to remind you to take a little bit of caution, because this company sold itself to a metaverse company, and it's still owned by that company. Despite the fact that this is Legends of Aria Classic, it is still owned by that metaverse company. The IP rights still belong to that company. There has been no clean break or anything like that. My name is Redbeard Flynn. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope I can return to much more positive videos soon, because I don't like making videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go shower all that stuff off. Bye. Bye. Here's a positive video right there. There's some kind of positive video. I don't know what I put there.